Andrew's finished yawning there, look, quickly. Hi, good evening and welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live with Paul and Jenny from Host for Ghosts, Angela from South Coast Coast, and we're very, very honoured to have Heather from Explorers of the Afterlife from America. So welcome, Heather, to Monday Night Paranormal Live.
Guys, excited to be here.
Cool. So if you have any questions for Heather, send them in, put them on the screen. Angela will put them on the screen and we can ask Heather. Or, any comments, so please come in and comment, because we're very privileged to have them come on and give their time up for us on this Monday Night Paranormal Live. I'm not sure, Heather, what time it is where you are.
It's about 3:15 in the afternoon.
Oh, so that's not too bad, is it? That'll do. So we hope you had a great week last week and this coming week. We had no investigations at the weekend. Jenny was off doing readings for the whole weekend, so we were busy doing that. I'm not sure if Angela was out and about or doing your normal stuff, Angela.
I went to see a comedy show last night, which was very good.
Oh, good. Good. Funny?
Very funny,
Good.
yeah.
Good. Right, so welcome, Heather, to Monday Night Paranormal Live. Welcome. So, tell us a bit about your Explorers of the Afterlife.
Yeah, so we have been around since 2018, kind of when we first started stepping into the paranormal world and putting a team together. So it's me and Desi have been the members since 2018. And just recently, we've had a few guys kind of join in and out of investigations as they can, which is Tommy and Zach. So the two of us and four of us get to investigate all sorts of locations all around the U.S.
What would be your favourite location that you've been to, would you say?
I would say hands down, my favorite's the Melbourne Manor. We actually go every year. So we have our trip booked in April for there, and it'll be our 8th time going.
Oh,
no.
And do you take guests with you? You run events there, or is it just solely for your team?
Just solely for the team.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hi, Christine. Can you tell us, what is it, a mansion, did you say? A house, big house?
It's a big house. It used to be, housing for it was kind of like an insane asylum. They called it a manor though. And it was running for about 100 years, lots of crazy times. So you get kind of spirit interaction of all different types depending on where you are in the house, which is nice.
Manny Guitar 01, 8 times. Do the ghosts know you by name? If you've been out, do they know you by name?
Absolutely. It's the craziest thing. We step in there and we'll put our spirit box on and they'll say, welcome back, or they'll say our names a bunch. And at our last investigation, they said, see you next year.
Oh,
Cool.
But
do you know their names?
We know quite a few of their names. A lot of them, we ask them for their name, they'll just tell us no. But going there times, we try and do as much research as possible after we leave a place. So we've done quite a bit of research, quite a bit of names. Rebecca down in the dark hallway interacts with us a lot. And then you get a lot of action in Inez's room, which is upstairs. But everybody kind of has their own room. So as you go room to room, it's kind of getting to know who stayed there.
Oh, wow.
Has that place been on TV?
Is that, Jenny's asking if is that place been on TV?
I bet it has. I know that they're going to be in a movie coming up, but I'm sure they've been on probably, I would say, either Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters, I'm sure has been there.
Yeah, was there a lot of stuff going on with abuse to children?
Jenny's asking, is there a lot of stuff going on with abuse to children?
Yeah, there was a lot, and there was a lot of, young deaths as well there, just because the people who got checked in there, it wasn't just crazy people. Sometimes it was like orphans who would get sent there, like a mother, if they lose their husband and can't afford their place, they got sent there. So it was just kind of all across the board.
I'm sure I've seen that on the TV.
Yeah, you probably have there.
Yeah.
Seem to know a lot about it. So if you're so have you seen an apparition yourself? Have you had the encounter?
I would say in my 9 years, I've maybe seen like 3 legit shadow or apparition things. Obviously, countless, knocks and noises, the EVPs, but those apparitions, man, they like to hold out on us.
Yeah.
And are you do you have a gift like a medium, or do you take a medium with you, a psychic, or are you one yourself?
Desi, my co-founder of the group, she's a sensitive. So she's able to communicate really well with the spirits with tools and understanding them. I mean, it's almost like she goes in like a trance-like state and kind of becomes like a tool herself just for communication. So I would say we do have a sensitive on our team, not quite a medium.
Yeah, nice. And you get some good reaction from the spirits with her there.
Absolutely. I mean, we have like full on conversations with them, and it's, she'll go blindfolded and with headphones on, noise canceling headphones, so that she can't hear me. And the conversations that we'll have with the spirits, I mean, it'll give you goosebumps. So,
Wow. So you say the blindfold and the headphones, is that we know it's a Yestes method? Is that right? Do you know it's that? And do you find that, because a lot of people have reservations about that method, do you think are you fully behind that type of experiment?
I will say, just with any piece of equipment, any tool, any person, I think you should question it. I do know that like before we got like our new headphones, it was like you could hear people but muffled. With these new noise canceling headphones we have, you can't hear anything, even if you're like close by a person. And she doesn't know this, but I always like test her at some point throughout her SS. Like I'll like, Desi, we gotta go, or like, Desi, there's a spider on you, or like something like that. No, she can't hear me, but she'll be locked in. And like I said, the conversations you have, yeah, I'm definitely fully behind Estes.
Yeah. Poppy, enough. Angie, you got a question?
Have you captured any good EVPs?
Oh yes, yeah, we have 2 EVP recorders that we'll put out, and we usually have a couple of video cameras. I think we have, couldn't even tell you, we have probably countless EVPs. We have some really creepy ones, some screams, some cries, and then a few full-on sentences. Actually, so Desi, her partner is Zach. That's kind of how he started to join in on our group. And when he comes along, they sleep in the bed, and Desi, you can hear her say, Zach, cuddle me closer, I'm scared. And Zach goes, it's too warm in here. And then you hear clear as day go, I'll come in. And it was just like, oh my God, yeah. Totally, we worked it out the next morning. So,
Wow.
but yeah.
So has there been an investigation where you've been really scared, where you think it's time to get out and get out now?
Nothing's never made us run out, but I will say I will never spend a night solo at the old Blackford County Jail. That place scared the crap out of me.
And that was where? What jail was that? Sorry, I missed that.
The old Blackford County Jail. It's located in Hartford City, Indiana. And yeah, that place, it is intense all on its own. Really is.
And Luke is one of our investigators down there in the bottom corner. Say hi to Heather, Luke.
Hello.
Luke likes haunted dolls.
Yeah.
Nice. I have Miss Haunted Hannah right here.
There you go, Luke. Look.
Yeah.
To be center of attention. So,
Do you take your dolls on the investigation with you as trigger objects?
typically we don't, because we only have 4 haunted dolls, and they're younger spirits. And the places we go to, like the jails, the asylums, we just don't want to have to expose them to anything like that.
Yeah.
Like Estes method nights with them and communicate with them. And Hannah, if she doesn't get attention, she'll throw her ball. So then you're like, all right, let me get you a run pop or something. So
That's interesting.
yes,
So-
but we do plan to take her along with us to the Paracons we'll be at this year.
Oh yeah.
Her and see her. So
She's quite famous then.
she's gonna be.
That's what we like to hear. So So what else? Do you travel a great distance across America on your investigations, or do you try and keep it as local as possible?
You know, like, it's a Western thing, actually. Like, oh, 20-hour drive, that's not that bad, you know. So we drive probably across the entire US, and I think our longest drive so far was 21 hours. But we don't mind it. We gab, we listen to music, we jam out.
Now that's dedication.
Yes.
We moan about going 3 hours.
Yeah. Getting home at the early hours of the morning.
I know.
So, my question to you: have you ever done Waverly Hills Sanatorium?
We have not done Waverly Hills yet. Definitely on the list. One of those massive locations that we'd probably have to do, 2-3 days there, just because, I mean, trying to get to everywhere and doing something that we have done some massive locations, but that one's on the list still.
Yeah, because that's quite a famous one, isn't it? That's one on my bucket list.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to book that.
Yeah. We were looking at it the other day. You have to book that to go in. It's only open at certain times of the year.
Yeah, they're
Right.
open until August or something.
Open until August or something. Then they close
Say May to August.
May to August or something. We were looking at, because we may head out towards Kentucky that way, because my nephew's getting married out there.
Fun.
So we might head out there, and you never know. We might end up in Waverly Hills.
I mean, if you're
Like
closer, hi.
Yeah, like you do. Anyway, so what others would be your favourite investigations? Ones you'd say, "Oh wow, what a great night."
Yeah, like I said, Melbourne Manor, really close to our hearts, like our paranormal home away from home. We've also been to the McIntyre Villa probably 6 times now. That's becoming a really amazing location to us. Really getting familiar with the spirits there. And then we just recently went to Sleeper Mortuary in Iola, Kansas, and that was probably like the most active location I think we've been to. We caught like multiple doors opening on their own. Like, we got it on camera too, which is a super cool thing. But they move stuff. They like to slam stuff. They like to keep you up. Like, we tried to go to bed at 5 a.m. and they started calling our name from the kitchen. One we cannot wait to get back to. Only been there once, but it's on the list for many returns.
And do you think going back to these locations, Spirit, get more and more, like you say, used to you going, so they do a bit more for you each time you go? So each investigation seems to gather a bit more information.
Yes, absolutely. Each time, you get there, you get a little bit more familiar. You kind of get to learn where everybody is, know the hot spots, able to pay more attention to those locations where the activity is higher. And we've actually, when we went to Melbourne Manor, I'm not sure if I mentioned this yet or not, but we're coming on our 8th year of it. Last year, when we were leaving, they said, "Can't wait to see you next year." So they're definitely ready for us to come back.
So you're definitely going back then.
Yeah, we have it scheduled for April. Every year we've gone in May. This will be our first year in May. We had to push it back to April, unfortunately. But we'll be there for 2 nights, April 19th through the 21st. So.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a really interesting investigation, that one.
Definitely.
Cool. So can you tell us a bit about your team? So do you all in full-time work and do this after work, or is this all-day thing?
All of us put in a lot of work when we can. I do stay home currently, so I'm able to put in a lot of the review, put in a lot of the social media aspects of it. But it's definitely a team effort across the board. Everybody kind of has their roles and responsibilities of not just during the investigation, but outside of investigations too. We all meet twice a week for evidence review. We're all holed up in my bed, each of us on a TV, computer, laptop, headphones on, reviewing what we can. And then, Desi and I, we like to cook our meals while we're there, get a little crock pot going. And then the guys, if they have to run for batteries or if we've forgotten something, the guys kind of take care of the errand side of it. So we all pitch in and do our part to just kind of make sure everybody's equal there.
Nice, nice. So you all take your own responsibility. So what you say is each of your team have different what's the word I'm looking for? Different strengths that they bring
Absolutely.
to the group.
Absolutely. And during the investigation too, me and Zach, we'll be like lead investigator, co-lead investigator while we're on it. Desi's definitely our spirit box expert. So most of her energy and time is kind of either taking breaks or, being under. And then Tommy, when he is able to come along, definitely nice to have a cameraman. So he's kind of behind the camera, following us with that. When it's just me and Desi, it's more, one of us has to hold the phone, the other one's kind of on the screen, and it's, also that. So
Multitasking. You got a question, Angela?
Yeah, I think it was last week you drove 12 hours to Indiana and did a full day investigation.
Yeah.
Tell us all about that, all the different places you went to and why and what happened.
absolutely. So we drove from South Dakota to Indiana, it's a total of 12 hours, but on the way down, Billy Creek was our first stop, which was only 10 hours from us. I say only because, but only 10 hours for us. And when we first got to Billy Creek, it's more of like a haunted village type place. So there's multiple buildings, but they're each not massive. They're pretty small. There's a couple of churches, a schoolhouse, a couple of other buildings, the store. And then if you go up the hill a bit of ways, it used to be a Civil War hospital area or shelter area for them.
Right.
So kind of had a wide variety at our first location. The two churches were really active for us. It was actually kind of crazy because we put a cat ball and a REM pod out kind of up by the front of the pews. And then one of our members started to read the Bible because they had the Bible up there. And every time we started to read the Bible, the cat ball would go up. And then we would stop reading for a little bit just to test it. And the second we got back to reading the Bible, the cat ball started going off again and again. So I like to think that, they're kind of still there and enjoying their Sunday mass. And so we got a lot of activity there. It was a really successful night. And then you sleep in like bunks of the general store. And it was a very quiet night. You say we don't get many of those investigating where the ghosts let us sleep. But they were really grateful because it was the first night of 4. So we are excited to get, 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And then we headed to Randolph County to do the infirmary there, which we did 2 nights there. It was awesome because it's massive. It's actually like 58,000 square feet. And there's like 4 floors, and it's actually in the shape of a cross. So got hallways each way on all 4 floors. So it was insane. Lots of evidence and activity there. We met a ghost named John who was keeping us safe all night from apparent thugs. And we like to go in blind. So we like no information. Don't tell us any names. Don't tell us anything. We want to see what we can get. And then we'll cross-reference later. So the caretaker the next day was really amazing. He came and met us there in between our stay. And we went over what we had. And he told us that John was actually an older man who used to be in the war for a long time. And he actually died defending people from thugs that were in the asylum. So it was super crazy to just get something and have it be, confirmed. So that was just, and then we got a lot of activity in Noah's room. It's a little boy that used to be there because like families and stuff were also there. It was more like a safe haven for homeless people. And so you had people all across the board there too. And every time we were reading him stories, he was just ringing the dead bell nonstop, and of activity from him. And we were there for 2 nights, then headed over to the Blackford County Jail, which is in Hartford City. And that's about a 45-minute drive there. So we took a nice long nap in between. So we were able to get a rest, which was really nice because the jail was absolutely terrifying. I could say we've probably been to over 100 locations, been doing it for 9 years, and it is the scariest place to be for me. I wouldn't do a solo there all night. I'd be too afraid. But we got to the jail and it was constant activity. We captured cell doors opening and closing, lots of great EVPs. Our spirit box session there was incredible. We were down in the basement, and it was really crazy because I went into this crawl space that used to be like solitary confinement. And it was like the only place where I felt peace. Like, I don't know why, but it was like the only small spot in that building that I felt safe. The rest of the place, I mean, it was intense and it was terrifying. And every place you went in that, just so scary. Found a lot of evidence there. We did do a few lives where we got, some slamming, some knocks, some bangs, great EVPs. And we were there, we had to check out at 10 a.m. and then drive the 12 hours back home. It was a crazy trip, to say the least.
But well worth the drive.
Well worth the drive. That's what we figured, if we're driving the 12 hours, might as well try and fit in as many locations as possible. And there was even like 3 other locations that we wanted to do, but we knew 4 was our limit.
And do you do a podcast yourself into the America with your following, so you could put all this to your followers?
We don't do podcasts. We've been guests on probably about 4 or 5 now. So we don't, we like to feature it, but we don't do one ourselves. We do like lives and stuff while we're on investigations, or people come with us, experience it firsthand. More stuff than that, but.
And do you take guests with you? So someone that's not a non-believer or a skeptic, do you take people like that with you to experience what you experience? Sort of give them the thrill that we all have when you get this contact?
Yeah, we've probably taken, I would say, a couple handfuls, so maybe 12 to 20 people throughout our 9 years. We've kind of brought them out. Some skeptics, some true believers, some that just, want to experience it at all and have never really stepped into a haunted location. So more open-minded, but just never done it before. And also, I definitely love bringing skeptics along. They're my favorite, because I will say we've even brought one guy along, and he was just the most massive skeptic. And everything that happened, he was like, well, it could be this though. It could be this though. And then he ended up sleeping in the car overnight because the only thing he could bunk was Desi's spirit box session, because he tested the headphones himself. He stood far away. He knew that we couldn't hear. And we were having just full-blown conversations. He was so terrified he slept in the car. It's hilarious.
Done your job. Brilliant. Another question, Luke? Do you have a question for Heather?
What does it feel like to investigate an asylum?
It's almost more like sad and depressing than anything. You get a lot of raw emotions there, a lot of, just really sad stories, and ghosts they'll communicate what they've been through, and it's usually, more gruesome of a passing. So I definitely say it's very heavy. You have to try and make sure like you do step out every now and then and just kind of do a nice refresh, because it can weigh down on you, really.
Yeah. And do you ground yourselves going in and coming out, so you're never taking attachment with you? Have you ever had something like that happen to any of you in the group?
Yeah, actually, we started this back in 2018. And my mom, she's Wiccan, so she's like, oh, just be careful, please be careful, And after our first couple of years, we took something home, and my mom was like, that's it. So now she blesses crystals. She sends us with them. And what we do is we put it on our person, and then right before you leave, you just leave it outside the location. And anything that tries to attach to you will attach to the crystal instead and stay there. And ever since, never brought anything home. So it's really, I don't know if it's, a placebo effect or if you believe in magic, but it definitely works.
Manic Guitar 01 has put, have ghosts ever been aggressive or maybe helpful instead?
Aggressive, yes. We get that all the time. We try and shut it down, tell them hey, we're here just to communicate. We're here to get to know you. We don't mean you any harm, and we would like the same and back at us. But definitely helpful ghosts quite a bit. Like I said, that Randolph County Infirmary, John was making sure that the thug ghosts didn't, hurt us all night. And so We like those ghosts.
Yeah, very much. Do you find it's hard to get locations? Because like here in the UK, we have a lot of difficulty getting into locations because they don't believe it or they're not into the paranormal at all. Do you find that in the States that you have difficulty getting locations, or do you have your sport for choice?
Where we are, there isn't too much. Like in South Dakota, we've reached out to like 4 places that are supposedly haunted, and they say like, oh, it's supposedly haunted, and then we've asked to do overnights, and they just don't offer anything like that. But in the States as a whole, I think our list is like 50 locations we haven't been to yet, and we've been to, like I said, I think just slightly over 100. So there's quite a bit out here.
Yeah,
I keep it expensive, but
yeah.
definitely variety.
And have you been to Gettysburg?
Yes, we went to Gettysburg. It was crazy. We stayed at a bed and breakfast that had 7 soldiers still buried underneath the grounds, and it was super active and crazy. We actually got to meet the actual Annabelle doll there, and then huge shout out Bobby Singer from Supernatural, Jim Beaver. Got to meet him, and I love him so much. Supernatural, so that was awesome. Tony and Judy Spara, and get to hear their stories of what it was like. And that was really cool to hear firsthand from, Lorraine Warren's daughter. I mean, it was an amazing speech, and just kind of getting to experience that. So kind of did, I think we did 4 nights there.
And did you go out onto the battlefields themselves and do your experiments out there? And then did you see anything? Or
Didn't do any like experiments on the battlefield or anything like that. We did at the bed and breakfast, but out of respect for the displays and everything out there, and just everything like that, we didn't bring any tools, but we did the whole walkthrough of everything, heard the stories from the people who work there that kind of tell you what the history is there, and seen all the monuments. It was really cool to see. It was really rainy, but we toughed it out.
oh, good, interesting. Andrew, you got a question?
If you had the opportunity, is there anywhere in the world that you'd like to investigate, not just in America?
Oh, we would definitely love to get outside of the US someday. There's so many places in the UK that I follow online that I would love to get into. And eventually someday maybe pop over to Japan, because there's a lot of great stuff that goes on over there,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot. We have a lot of history in this country here. Your forts and castles, and interesting places. Really, ours have been more castles and forts rather than battles. You've had a lot of battles in America, haven't you? Rather than we've just had forts and castles built. Really, we enjoy it. Yeah. Would you go to Transylvania, where Count Dracula came from? Would you like to go there?
I think we'd probably go just about anywhere. We're, our main specialties, of course, goats and stuff like that. But we're having a Bigfoot trip planned this year, so kind of we get a sense of Bigfoot. Would love to get out to the Appalachian Mountains. I mean, UFOs, aliens, cryptids, you name it, we're there.
Yeah, we did one a couple of months ago, wasn't it, Angela? Cryptid. What was it called? My Bigfoot Life, wasn't it? With Daniel Barnett. I don't know whether you've heard of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel's. He first sort of came on here many years ago, really, when he first started to do into Bigfoot, and then we were invited to a red carpet night of his new film, My Bigfoot Life, because Daniel's autistic. But it's if you ever get a chance to see it, it's very moving, very moving film. It's got Ryan RPG, is it? Ryan Gomslake and Ronnie LeBlanc, and all the Bigfoot people are on it. But yeah, it's good. It's a good film.
Absolutely.
So, I'll escape me now. Andrew, you got a question? I'll get it. It'll come back to me in a minute.
Have you had any experiences with UFOs or UFOs or aliens or anything of that nature?
It was crazy. And, you know, when you see it yourself, you can question it. But both of us saw this when we were actually at doing a paranormal investigation. We were down at the Aurora brothel in Aurora, Missouri, an amazing location. We were obsessed. And we like to take turns doing solo so everybody kind of gets a chance to be in the building by themselves. And so Debbie and Zach, they were in the building, and Tommy and I were like, well, let's go walk. Let's go check stuff out. Let's go explore the neighborhood. It was a warm night. And we're walking, you know, we're admiring the stars. It was so beautiful. And then all of a sudden, it was like a piece of black sky that was moving through. So you could see the stars, but just a piece of black circle moving through that was like the sky, no stars. And it went over one area and then shot back away. And I was, you know, we were both admiring, and he goes, please tell me you just saw that. I said, I absolutely saw that. I believe it was a UFO for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Do you think that's because you're in a paranormal location that UFOs appear?
You know, I'm not sure. That's a great question. Something to, I mean, right now they're saying that, you know, with the meteor that just went over Ohio, there's a whole bunch of Bigfoot sightings just from multitudes of people.
Oh, wow.
You've got to wonder, you know, is the whole paranormal world connected? You know, aliens, Bigfoots, maybe spirits, I don't know. But it definitely was a freak incident all on its own. And we were really excited to get back into the haunted house. I didn't want to get beamed away.
Try and explain that one.
Yeah.
We sort of think like the paranormal world is a very small part of the supernatural world, you know, which is cryptids and, you know, underwater UFOs and all of that type of stuff. But the paranormal makes up that very small part of that supernatural type of phenomenon, really. Nick, would you have a question for Heather?
Trying to think of it now. I don't know.
Angela, do you have another one?
In the area that you live, is there any sort of well-known stories about any cryptids or any other sort of out of the ordinary phenomena?
I mean, one of the legends of Sioux Falls isn't necessarily, you know, ghost related, but there's a huge, you know, lure in Sioux Falls that we live in a weather bubble because we never get hit by anything crazy. All the towns around us will get hit by like tornadoes, and the tornado will just like jump over Sioux Falls and then move on somewhere else and then but continue, you know what I'm saying? And we maybe get, I think we've gotten hit one time since I've lived here, but the storms always miss us. All the cool stuff always misses us. So there's this long, Sioux Falls has a weather dome over it. Whether it's paranormal related or not, I'm not sure. But the closest thing I would say that we have would be, there is a park, a state park, Gidgee Manitou. It's about 20 minutes from us. And it, I think like maybe 40 years ago or so, a sad story, unfortunately, 5 teenagers were unalive there, brutally by 3 men who escaped from prison. And we investigated it quite a few times and have gotten some pretty cool stuff out there. And then there's a house maybe like an hour and a half from us called the Walnut House. It's not massive or anything like that. It's a pretty small size house, but you can get a lot of crazy activity there. And it's where one of the like I don't know if you guys have heard the stories of like Deadwood with like Wild Bill Hickok and that's one of the gentlemen that was helping him is buried yanked in South Dakota. So
well, there's quite a history there around where you are then.
Yes.
But do you think if you have thunderstorms out there that seems to stir up the activity locally?
I think when we go to investigations and there's crazy weather, it definitely stirs up more activity. I feel like the energy is just kind of in the air more. We don't get hit with too many storms out here, so nothing kicks up. I mean, I do have a haunted doll collection, and I'm excited to see this spring, summer, if maybe when we do get a thunderstorm finally, if it kicks up their activity a little bit. But one time we were at the Melbourne Manor and a tornado was like less than a mile from the house and there's no basement. So we run to the gas station for them to let us in, but they had already locked their doors. So we went back to the Malvern Manor and we're like, you know what? We're just going to investigate. And if the tornado takes us, that's what it is. And it's insane. I mean, REM pods, all our REM pods were going off, all the dead bells. There was so much communication. So I do think storms really bring the energy to the paranormal.
Oh, wow. So Christine Wells put us, has there been a place you've investigated where you felt really uncomfortable, bad vibes, etc.?
Bad vibes. I would say, I think that there are sometimes locations can like get a bad vibe in a certain spot. But as for the whole place, I can't stress enough that old Blackford County Jail, aside from one small place, the whole place just uneasy feeling consistently, heavy activity, and just lots of darkness there. No.
Was there executions there then, or was it just a holding jail?
They did public execution. I don't know what I can say on that. I'm trying to watch my word here. They did public ones, and they would do the rope method, and they would just drop them right through the ceiling, and people would just see the dangling feet. And like, there was like the sheriff's bedroom and like his family. They stayed in that area, and the kids would just see feet just drop from the ceiling.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Quite a traumatic scene then, you can imagine, can't you?
Absolutely. Couldn't imagine.
You've got another question, Angel?
Yeah. Have you ever experienced spirit animals on either investigations or just generally?
One time we were like, maybe it was a cat because we kept feeling something rubbing on our leg, and you know, cat on your leg, but never really come across like a haunted animal. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I saw one many years ago. Alan Ray put, have you carried out an investigation in Salem?
In Salem, no, we have not. Oh, we would love to get to. I want to go, especially during the fall. I want to do the whole thing. I want to go to the festivals. I want to go to all the cool Salem spots. And yeah, we would love to. Yeah, that would be a big trip. So I would love to spend 3-4 nights out there.
Nice.
Yes.
So can you tell us a bit about your dolls? Do you just specialize? You know, is that what you like to do, or communicate with your dolls? Do you know? Can you tell us a bit about your dolls? Because Luke has dolls as well. He's a collector.
Yes, absolutely. You know, we never thought that we'd be one to collect dolls. We came into one, and then you get another, kind of like potato chips. You can't just have one. But this is a very special girl. This is Miss Hannah. She's our most active by far and away. Her story's pretty sad. She has told us in detail what she went through and how she was unfortunately unalived by her mother trying to defend her little sister. So she's very like, that's why we don't take her to our investigations. We like to keep her here. She likes to play board games. She hates football. Or I don't know. Do you guys? I apologize. Do you guys call it soccer over there? Is that
it's same thing. Football, soccer.
But she hates it. So if you put it on, she starts flickering lights. She starts throwing things. Like, she doesn't like it. You put on a good Disney movie, she is so happy. She's so excited. We think between about 10 and 12 years old. And her name is Hannah. And yeah, she's got a little bit of an attitude. She's my special girl. We love her so much, but she has no problem telling you if she's unhappy. And then I'll show you guys one more. This was our first sweet boy. This is Teddy. He's only about 6 or 7. He's very shy. He just likes to play with things and like live his best afterlife. He's not too much on communicating, but he did tell us his story. It was more an accidental passing, but he was very and so doing stuff he wasn't supposed to do, getting into stuff, and accidentally unalived himself. And so he's more just kind of a friendly little boy, and
Nice, nice.
His brother is with him, but we can't get a name, we can't get an age, we can't get anything else out of him. He just sometimes mentions that his brother's with. So I don't know
Yeah.
if brother's connected to or not, but yeah, he's a sweetheart. He's just an innocent little guy.
Nice.
How do you communicate with them?
We do Estes method with them. We'll set out REM pods. We'll set out like yes, no things for them. We'll put like a cat ball, one on yes and one on no, and then they can light up which ball they want to do. And then obviously cat balls and things like that. We'll leave EVPs out, but we only ever catch Hannah on that.
Oh,
That's interesting. Luke, so how many have you got, Luke?
We have 4. Oh, how many do you have?
No. How many do you have, Luke?
It could be 10 or more. I'm not sure. Maybe.
Did you say 10 or more?
Could be, yeah.
Oh my God. Favorite.
Creepy. And we know a young lady, Emily, and she had 27 last count. 27 vessels, as she calls them. Alan Ray's, but I have a 3D painted on my wall of a haunted house that has music box built into the box. In it, the box came from a haunted doll and will sometimes go off on its own.
That.
So, do you have any haunted items in your house ever, or you'd rather not, other than the dolls, obviously?
Just the haunted dolls. I'm terrified of haunted paintings. I will never have one of those. They scare me. I don't know, the eyes that follow you and stuff. I don't like it. But just haunted dolls. Like we more like to specialize in like the younger, innocent, positive. We don't do the neutrals. We don't do the negatives.
Yeah.
Kind of keep it light and nice. We set up board games for them, play games with them, all that fun stuff.
I bet they love it, don't they? So, what's I going to say? Angie, you got another question? Oh, I keep sneezing my mind.
What would you say would be your sort of go-to piece of equipment? Something that you'd always take with you?
I know for Desi, for sure, Spirit Box. She won't go anywhere without that. I like my video camera. I don't know. I feel safe behind it. The gentlemen in our group, they love REM pods. So we have about 3 of them that will place around. And, when those go off, it's like bringing you to the activity. So, but, yeah, I would say my camera is probably my number one piece where I like to have it.
Do you tend to rely on technical stuff, or you just go by feel when you're in the location?
To do a little bit of both. We'll kind of walk through, kind of feel for the more heavy, when you kind of like step into that room and it's like, whoa, my breath just got knocked out for a second, and kind of, all right, this is going to be, an active location. So I like to go through and just kind of feel the place out, get familiar with it. And then the hot spots will, set up the light off equipment or like the noise equipment. And our video cameras we usually try and put in the basement and in the attic because, when you're going live or anything like that, you can't get signal down there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
something running while we're in the middle 2 floors or anything like that.
So when you're driving to these locations, do you find that you're starting to connect before you get there to the building? Like your team, somebody starts to get feelings, excitement or dread or something. Do you find you connect to the building before you actually arrive?
That would be a great question for Desi. I don't necessarily, obviously the excitement, like I'm just like, oh my God, let's go. As you get close, it's like more the excitement, like getting there and doing all the things. But yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily I feel the location pulling me, but I know Desi, she kind of gets to town. She's like, all right, like I can already start to feel it calling me. So
that's quite a good sign then. If she's feeling it, it's sort of protecting you all before you get there because she's getting a feeling of what's going on. And do you sort of obviously, like I said, you ground yourselves before you go to the crystals, but do you just have a little prayer together in your little group before you enter?
We actually talked about starting that after this last one, just because it was a very heavy place, and we've do a lot of repeat locations and do a lot of homes and stuff like that where it's not so heavy. But we kind of just started talking about possibly like just right before we go, because we always get dinner, maybe just, saying, St. Michael's prayer or just something to protect us further. So we've definitely talked about it, have not done it yet. So.
And do you do many private locations for residents in your area or around? Do you do private investigations?
We do offer, if anybody needs our help, we offer it for free. We'll come investigate your place. We can get you in contact with the correct people if we can't resolve the issue ourselves. I've been studying demonology for just about a year now.
Oh, wow.
Not anywhere near capable of dealing with anything more heavy. So when we do private locations, we more gather evidence for the people who need help or could need help. If we can help, we do. If not, we're more than able to point you in the right direction of somebody who can come in. Now that you have evidence, you can present it to somebody. So.
Oh, that's good, isn't it? Luke, do you have a question for Heather?
Would you say America is more haunted than other, like the UK?
That's a great question. I don't know. That is a really good question. I would say there's definitely quite a few haunted locations here, a lot of houses. There's a lot of, different options, asylums, jails, battlefields, that kind of stuff. But I follow quite a bit of locations from the UK as well. So I bet they're tit for tat.
Yeah. And is there a particular team you follow in the UK, or you just sort of monitor what goes on here?
I think we have quite a few teams that we follow from the UK and quite a few locations. Sometimes I'll location, post a video, and I'm like, I got to go. And then I click on it and I'm like, my UK locations. Follow quite a few.
And what would interest you? What location would interest you in the UK if you were to ever come here?
That's a good question. I was just looking at one this morning and I can't even remember the name now. But they have stuff going on coming up here. I was so bummed that it wasn't closer. It's a house. It's the Elmwood House, I think what it was.
I've heard of that.
House, and I see videos from them all the time, and I want to get out there. And of course, I click on it. It's in the UK. They have to do a trip out there.
Yeah, it sounds like you need to come out here, come and see us. And would you go to forts and castles and head up to Scotland, because Scotland's very famous for the Edinburgh vaults?
Oh my gosh, we love, absolutely. I mean, castles, sign me up. No contest. I would love to go to castles. And I mean, Scotland would be absolutely beautiful as well. We'd love to get all of it. Ireland's also on the list too.
Ireland. Yeah. We tend to do a lot of faults as a team, all the faults along the coastal line. So we have good history with that type of stuff. So we're lucky that they're quite close by to be able to do it. But yeah, we enjoy doing them. We do other locations, but faults are sort of our favourites, because of the massive history. We've got a big one coming up the 25th of April. It's called Fort Brockhurst. So it's in Gosport in Hampshire, and it would hold over 2,000 soldiers at any one time. And it was built during the Napoleonic War as a fallback fort. So we love it. It's a great place. And
Absolutely.
We investigate it for what's called the English Heritage. And we're a non-profitable group, so we don't make any money. All the money goes back to the charity. So it keeps history alive for people.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We make no profit. Yeah, we enjoy what we do. We do it for the passion, and we give something back. Like we say, once history's gone, it's gone, isn't it? You can't replace it.
Exactly.
And if we can keep it alive, then we do. We try, don't we? You got a question, Andrew? Manic Guitars. Any recommended places in the UK? There's a few. There's Dover Castle, very famous. Where else? Hever Castle is the home of Anne Boleyn, where Henry VIII chopped her head off. It was Anne Boleyn. There's a lot of the forts in Hampshire, massive amounts of forts. There's
That's
I think there's 6 or 7, Andrew, isn't there? Stretches across the Hampshire border.
Yeah, it could even be more than that, but some you can't get access to. They're sort of like just walls now. There's not actually any fort left.
Yeah,
But,
we have the D-Day tunnels as well that Winston
Yeah.
Churchill used during D-Day invasion, and we have loads of places to visit here. The London Underground, our train station, or subway as you call it in America, is very haunted. Tower of London, we have all the big major places. There's loads. Not so much in London because London's quite famous for Jack the Ripper during that time. So you can wander around Whitechapel. Myself and Jenny did a museum to Jack the Ripper in Whitechapel, and it shows you the history and how they tried to find him. And a really amazing museum. So if you're ever in that London area, go to the Jack the Ripper Museum. Very, very knowledgeable.
That would be so cool. That would be so cool. I would definitely check that out. Do you guys typically pay to investigate locations, or is it more donation, or how do you guys do it over in UK?
We tend to, when we do it for obviously myself, host for Ghosts with Jenny and Angela and that and Luke, and we tend to, all the ticket money goes back to the location, to the event. We don't make any money off of it. But we do host for other teams that charge ticket prices, and they keep the ticket, and we take guests around. But generally, it's host for Ghosts and South Coast Ghosts, and that we don't charge. We take people, they buy a ticket, but all the money goes back to the charity. So we make nothing out of it, but it just helps. We feel that we're giving something back for having the privilege of doing that location.
Yeah, a lot of locations you have to pay to hire, and some are very expensive and others aren't too bad. And then whoever's hosting, it's up to them what they do with the money, really. But the ones that we host, they don't charge the venue, but we just charge ticket prices so that we can give them some money towards the upkeep of their venues.
Absolutely. There's a lot of locations that we go to where it's, the price might be just slightly higher because, we've got to save the history, got to save the location, like that. So Randolph County, it's massive and well worth the money. And the money goes towards preserving the building and making sure that that piece of history stays there.
Yeah. Because I think our philosophy is that, once history's gone, nobody else can see what we've seen.
Absolutely.
So we try and do our best to do it. And, we do a lot of paranormal talks that we don't charge for. They go to charity as well. So, we give up a lot of time for charity, but we enjoy it. We enjoy giving it back. We've been lucky enough to allow on a location like yourselves with a team. So why shouldn't we just give something back to them,
Yeah.
But we do have lots of locations here in the UK. You'd love it. You could be here months going up and down the country.
I believe it.
Yeah. Right down from Cornwall, from the smugglers, right the way through the Midlands and all the way up into Scotland, where they have a lot of big cat sightings in Dartmoor. In Scotland, they have big cats and all sorts of sightings. UFOs, there's a very famous place in Suffolk called Rendlesham Forest. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, near the American Air Base, Mildenhall. There's a big American Air Base in Mildenhall in Rendlesham Forest. And that's where they first had a UFO land in the forest.
Oh, really?
And the soldiers saw it land in the forest and went out and engaged it. But they all have very different stories. And they came from the American Air Base. It landed right next to the American Air Base. I'm sure it's Mildenhall. There's two there. There's Mildenhall and Lakenheath. But one of them, Rendlesham Forest, is very famous for the UFO landing there. Lots of people go there. It's very. You've been to Rendlesham Forest, didn't you, Angela?
I have been there, yeah. It's a kind of weird feeling place. You can get quite lost. It's not a massive forest, but you can sort of lose your bearings quite easily in there. It's strange.
Yeah.
Because where they put the plaque to the UFO is not actually the true site of where it landed. It's landed bit further over where there's no trees and damage, but they put the plaque, oh, it landed here where the trees are growing, the grass is all coming through, everything's looking rosy. But if you go off the pace and walk across and it's there, the actual site of it landing there is scorched. So a really interesting place. If you're ever in the UK, well worth giving that a visit, you know, see what you feel there. And people say they get disconcerted with it because there's something not right in the forest. So whether there's something to do with a magnetic field in the forest that is created, we don't know, but people tend to say they get disorientated, not sure which way they've come when they get close to the spot. So well worth a visit if you're ever in the UK. Is, you know, Rendlesham Forest in Suffolk. But, you know, you just work your way up the country. Sports, battles, you know, we're very lucky.
Yes.
But a lot of our locations won't allow us in. Oh, no, can't be doing paranormal there. You could stir up all sorts of things. Not that things are happening anyway. But
Right.
because, you know, they're very worried about us stirring up, I don't know, bad things. Not that we ever do. You know, we only look for the good side of the paranormal.
Yes.
But I think, you know, and we've tried a couple of aircraft museums and they've sort of said, oh, no, you know, some of the pilots are still alive and it's disrespectful, which is fine. We understand that. But it is difficult here to get a good location. And if you get a good location, then it gets swamped. I don't know about yours. And we find here, if you get a lot of people on it, the energy drops in it, in the location. Do you find that in the States?
You know, we've kind of heard that, you know, about a few locations. We haven't quite experienced it ourselves personally, but there are a few locations in the U.S. where people say it's just too saturated with paranormal people every night. And, you know, whether the ghosts are just like, I'm done, I don't want to, you know, interact more, or if they have to rebuild their energies. And so some people have quiet times, not really sure, but we definitely have our fair share of that here too.
It's a shame, really, isn't it, that they get saturated to that extent. You know, you can understand spirits sort of saying, oh, here we go, same questions. Anybody there? Can you not? Can you? And we as humans get fed up with that, wouldn't we? So let alone spirit.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's our motto. We go into every place treating the spirits as if they're people. So we're there to, you know, have a conversation with them. It's not just, oh, what's your name? Oh, how you die? It's more like, hey, how's your night going? And like, do you like this? Can we hang out with you? You know, is it cool? Do you want to chat? What do you want to tell us? You know, that kind of thing versus the whole.
Yeah,
you know.
we're similar here. You know, we say, can you tell us a bit about yourself? Can you, you know, tell us your story, why you're here? Can you tell us a story? And we do get some good follow on some EVPs and that. Interesting. Some of the stuff you get is interesting.
Yes.
Angela, do you have a question? Oh, Manic Guitars, but do you find you connect with different ghost personality types?
I would say, yeah, we like the, you know, me and Debbie were both mothers. And so, you know, we can't help ourselves when there's a child ghost, you know, we're like, oh my gosh, baby, talk to us. I'll just read you a story. We do also get a lot of, it's like when we went to the jail, there was a lot of inappropriate men there. They were loving communicating with us. When we communicate with older women, it seems to be more, we get a lot of weeping or a lot of, you know, sadness from them. So I would say we like to really, you know, hang out with the ghost children who seem to still have their innocence.
Yeah. Yeah. Luke, would you have a question for Heather?
Have you ever contacted a famous ghost?
Well, a couple. So, you know, Wild Bill Hickok when we went to Deadwood, and then one of the Dillinger ghosts was locked up at the Blackford County Jail for a little while. And then in Deadwood, there's a lot of lure that quite a few famous cowboys went through there, and there was a few presidents from past times who have stayed there. But nothing like, never got to talk to like, Brittany Murphy or anything like that. That'd be super cool.
I nearly had that question. And I've got a question. Oh, it will come. I'm sure of it. I get it right on the end of my tongue and forget what I was going to say. No, it's gone. Ah, tired. Andrew, do you have another question or any other questions? Any comments, people?
Yeah. What exciting investigations have you got lined up?
Yes, absolutely. So our next investigation is going to be the Melbourne Manor, our yearly location that we do every year. And then we actually are going to be in at Penhurst. I don't know if you guys have heard of Penhurst Asylum. It's one of our famous locations out here in the U.S. We're doing a Paracon out there, so we'll have a nice booth set up. You can come interact with us. And then we are headed to the Beatty Mansion end of May. That place actually has a cat there, a living cat, not a haunted cat. Kind of can help the spirits and stuff too, and is really good at interacting with the ghosties and stuff like that. So we're excited for that. And then we're doing a Paracon in South Carolina. That one we're super excited for. It's going to be a 3-day event, June 10th, 11th, and 12th. Creations of Uniqueness is putting it on. Strange, Dark, and Mysterious Market. The nice thing about that is there's going to be, not just paranormal groups, but there'll be like, metaphysicals, psychics, mediums, people kind of across the board, people who investigate cryptids, all sorts of things. So it's going to be just a massive, strange, dark, and mysterious market. It's going to be so much fun. And then we're hosting a camping trip in July where we're going to be hunting Bigfoot for the first time with there'll be it'll be a lot of fun. But during the day we'll do, hiking and fishing and floating on the river, and then we're going to take everybody to different paranormal locations. There's a haunted road, haunted caves, that sort of thing, and then of course Bigfoot sightings. And then in July, our third Paracon of the year, the last one, wrapping it up, will be in Georgia, and that's the Coastal Haunts Paracon. Lots of paranormal teams are going to be there. It's going to be super exciting. Really great to kind of network and meet the whole community. We're really excited for that. And so far, I think August is our last one we have booked as of now. And then we still got to fill in the rest of our year, which I don't know about you guys, but out here, like, especially with the bigger locations, you've got to book 4 or 5 months in advance to get, that you have available. So, yeah.
And where can people watch your lives? What links do you have? Or do you have a website or somewhere they can come and watch your lives from the UK?
Yeah, absolutely. So we tend to do a lot of Facebook Lives, usually 7 p.m. our time. TikTok is our big one. We'll go live on TikTok for about 4 or 5 hours. Really let everybody experience the whole night with us. And then sometimes we pop over to YouTube as well to do lives. But our handle's pretty much the same across the board, Explorers of the Afterlife. I believe our YouTube handle has Explorers of the Afterlife 2Y18. But the rest of them just Explorers of the Afterlife. You can find us on all our socials.
So there you go. You've heard it from Heather. Get on there, watch their lives from interesting locations in America, if you like that. And obviously you'll see Heather and the team on there. So any more questions, Angela? We've done over an hour now.
I've just got one last question.
Go for it.
How long do you typically investigate for? Because ours are usually about 5 to 6 hours, but it seems like in America you do like the whole night or at least a couple of days. So I just wondered if it was just my perception from like what you see on TV where they seem to be there forever, or is that what you actually do?
That's one of our biggest things. There are some locations where you get the place from like 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. and that's a no for me. If there for at least 18 hours, I'm kind of disappointed, but check in typically 3 or 4 p.m., check out 11 a.m. the next day, kind of similar to a hotel, which is nice because you get to investigate during the day. You can investigate throughout the night, get your 4 hours of sleep, and then investigate a couple more hours in the morning before you got to go.
Okay.
That's interesting, isn't it? So you
Yeah.
prefer the overnights rather than a shorter investigation, then?
Absolutely.
And do you find you get much activity during the daytime when you're doing a walkabout, if you like?
Yeah, I feel like some of our best evidence has actually been captured during the day, specifically like morning time, especially when we go to like places where it's kind of more residual than it is, intelligent, where they just kind of seem to be almost on a time loop, reliving their past and maybe aren't aware. But it seems like when we go to places where it's like a manor or was a house that housed a lot of people, it seems like their day-to-day lives are almost just kind of continuing, and they're awake during the day. They're doing their chores in the morning. So you feel like morning is almost peak investigation time.
Yeah, nice. And then you can see both sides, I suppose, during the day and then into the night and overnight.
Yes,
So the best of both worlds, really, then.
absolutely.
Nice. Any other questions, Luke? Do you have a question further? Or?
No, I can't think now.
Great, that's a no. Angela?
No, that's all my questions. I'm all questioned out now.
So we've done an hour and 6 minutes, which is brilliant. So Heather, we thank you so much for coming on tonight and joining us on the Monday Night Paranormal Live. It's been really great to see you and listen to your stories, the explorers of the afterlife. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you guys so much for having us. We really appreciate it. And it's nice to hear things from the other side and what you guys kind of get to investigate and see as well. So
Yeah. So as Heather explained, you can find them on Facebook, YouTube, and mainly on TikTok. So keep your eyes open when they're live on investigations. Send them a message, send them a like, to let them know you're from the UK. Thanks, Alan. Let them know you're from the UK so they know that we're getting over there. So it only remains for me to say a massive thank you, and what an honour it is to have you on here, Heather. And thank you so much for giving your time for our Monday Night Live. So we should see you soon, and take care. Bye, everybody. Just stay on a minute, Heather. Just stay on a minute.
Yeah.